Hey, I'm Kate Quigley, and you're watching The Red Booth Show.
Hi, welcome to The Red Booth Show. On tonight's episode, I have the hilarious and gorgeous Kate Quigley. She has her own show on Playboy TV, and she also does stand-up comedy. Plus, we have some great clips of the cast from The Huntsman Winter's War in theaters this weekend. So come and join us. So hi, Kate. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I can't believe this is the first time that I've had a Quigley in my booth.
It's insane.
This is seriously
I can't
crazy.
believe you have the last name Quigley.
I know. Who has the last name Quigley other than me?
I don't really know because I stole this name from a marriage. I did. It wasn't my real name. Like,
nice.
I got married into the Quigley name, and then when I got my divorce, everyone was like, aren't you going to change your name back? And I was like, hell no, that's a good name. Like, people remember it. Kate Quigley has got like that little ring to it, so I kept it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I went back to my maiden name of Quigley after I got divorced.
Get out of here.
Yep.
You know, when I was married, my ex's father told me that every Quigley is related. So we have to be somehow, well, I mean, I'm not
In
really.
some way.
In some way you have to be related to them.
Well,
I don't know.
I'll tell you a little history about the Quigley name.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from O'Coogly, which is an Irish name.
Yes, this I have heard. I've heard that it's Irish, and I am actually part Irish. Like, my grandfather's Irish, so I feel like it's okay that I
That's
stole
totally
the name.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
totally fair, and I love to drink, so I mean, it all worked out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I have got to know, what is it like having your TV show? I know you have your comedy stuff that you do. You do stand-up, and then you have your Playboy TV
It's
show.
true. It's a lot. It's all good though. It all works well together. I do stand up. That was kind of how I got the TV show. Is I was doing stand up comedy. And actually, this is a funny story. So what happened is I was doing stand up and I wrote a letter. This is years ago to like Maxim stuff, FHM, Playboy, all these different men's magazines. And I basically was like, hey, there are a lot of up and coming female comics who don't look like your stereotypical like female comedians. Like, there's a lot of attractive girls coming up. So why don't you do an article with like a spread with some implied nudity about like sexy female comedians? I sent this letter to all these magazines. Playboy hit me up and they were like, come in for a meeting, let's talk. So I went into Playboy for this meeting, and
That's taking the initiative. I have to say, that's pretty impressive.
dude, you have to, because
Yeah.
everybody in Hollywood that sits around and waits for their agent to get them something, they're still sitting around when they're like 90 waiting for their agent to get them something. Like, that's never gonna happen, you
Yeah.
know? So I did that. I went to the meeting. And for the meeting, they're like, bring lingerie, we'll probably do a test shoot. And I'm like, cool. So I get there and they're like, hey, so are you cool with doing a test shoot naked?
Oh no!
Yeah. And I was like in my head, I was like, I don't know, I didn't really plan for that. But then I'm like, you're at Playboy. Like, how do you say no?
That's like where they do that sort of thing. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like when in Rome, get naked, you know? So I did. I took off my clothes. I did a test shoot in a room with like 7 guys. It was the weirdest thing ever because I am not good at trying to be sexy. That's one thing I don't do well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I take sexy photos sometimes at home alone.
You
but
don't
if-
need to try, by the way. You are super, super sexy.
Thank you.
I couldn't believe your legs. I was like, wow.
Well,
Just everything, the whole thing.
thank you.
It's amazing.
I spray them with lacquer to make them look like
That's
a doll.
a good idea.
Yeah, you should.
I'm gonna try that.
It's the best. But so I got naked and I did the photos, and then I knew that I would never be in the magazine because I was so awkward. I was like basically like falling over. I would look like a linebacker trying to take hot naked photos at Playboy.
So it was photos, not video.
Well, first it was both. They had a
Okay.
camera going, and then they were taking photos. But then after I'm naked, I'm standing there like in heels, and then the casting director Sam, he was like, "So we brought you in here because you're a comedian. What's your material like? What do you talk about?" And I was like, well, I pretty much, I talk about dating and being single and sports. And I started like doing some of my act at Playboy, butt naked in high heels.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was killing. I was like having the best set. I was like, this is going so well. I should do stand up naked all the time. And then...
And you had no idea they were going to ask you to do this naked, right?
No.
That's crazy. All I'm thinking is like, oh my God, did you like leave the house prepared, if you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I'm
were there,
always...
like landscaping.
I know what you're
going
saying.
on?
I am always sex ready. You just have to be. You just to be safe. I get lasered.
Nice.
So I knew I was gonna be in lingerie, so I took care of business.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you
I
got
put
it.
on the lacquer. But then when I left, like I just knew, I was like, if I don't get something out of this, like I'm gonna get something. And so they called me the next day to shoot a bunch of sketches, and then eventually it led to the show. So now I have the show Undercover, which is on the Playboy channel, and I feel like it all came from that, naked stand-up performance. I feel very honored that I got to do that.
I just have to say, okay, just being up on the stage doing stand-up in the first place, that takes some balls, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
And then on top of that, doing it when you're naked. I can't even imagine.
I know people say that, but here's what's so weird is like once I was naked and I was like telling jokes and being funny, I kind of forgot I was naked. I just started going into like my typical act.
Because you're not trying to all just be like, doing this whole thing, right?
Yeah, and I tried in my head because I'd been talking to the girls in the waiting room, and they were more like what you would expect to meet at a Playboy Playmate photo shoot. Really sweet girls, but like I didn't think they were gonna come in the room and be like super funny and talk sports and like rib with the guys. So that's what I tried to do, and I guess it just worked out. I hope that tape has been burned, by the way.
No.
I've never seen it.
I want to see this.
No one should ever see it. No one should. Also, I think it was like 10 pounds heavy. Like everything was bad that day. I was like bloated. I was like PMSing. My face was broken out. Like I think I was up all night partying the night before. Like
Isn't
it
this
was
funny?
not a good
Like
look.
these are the things that is in her head about how she looks, right? But like obviously they like loved her and she
Wow.
looked amazing. So.
That's sweet. Thank you. I always said though my personality is what carried me because I used to get paid to do like hot girl jobs, like be like a beer girl or like a Jack Daniels girl. But I was never the hottest one. I was always like the least hot one, but the funniest. And so they would like keep bringing me back. I'm not saying I'm ugly, but just like comparatively when you're in LA and these girls are like, they're all like Giselle.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
There's a lot of beautiful women here.
It's crazy.
But then, if they don't have anything to say, then
yeah, that's the thing. I try to just, talk.
And you do, which is so funny. Okay, so I love your little series about dating Asian men. Is this real? Like, how did this happen?
God. Are you talking about the ABCs of attraction thing? Oh, so embarrassing. Okay, I dated 2 Asian guys, one for a year and one very briefly. Not there's anything wrong with Asian guys. I like any guy that can fix my cell phone, so that's fantastic. No, I'm kidding. I'll date any guy if I like him, but like this guy came to me and was like, I heard that you date Asian guys, and I have this program called the ABCs of Attraction where I teach Asian guys how to pick up like white girls, and I need a host, and it's like a one-off hosting gig. I was like, sure, I'll do it, and I got, paid for it, and now it's become this thing where everyone thinks I'm like hung up on Asian guys because I did it, but I'm not.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
It's because I did it, but I'm not. I just like guys. I just like guys that are nice and funny. Asians are good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Any type, just as long as they're cool.
As long as they're cool and smart and they don't smell and they don't cheat if I don't want them to. That's really it. That's what I need,
Nice.
And a job. A job is nice. Although not a necessity for me always. I have dated homeless.
Hey, she's a charitable gal.
I try. Well, I find when you date guys that are down on their luck, they feel like they owe you and they stay longer.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my strategy.
Maybe they can do more around the house for you in that case. Like, who knows?
I never thought of that. That's a good idea. Grab a homeless guy, put him to work. Like, could you go down on me and then do a little light dusting when you're finished? It's fantastic.
Okay, so this is the kind of thing you probably talk about on the show. What do you talk about mostly?
On Undercover?
Yeah.
Well, the show is about exploring weird sex. Well, they don't like me to say weird. Interesting sex fetishes. So it's anything out there that's unique or anything that we hear about. If there's like for instance, we heard about this place in New Orleans where people are into like vampire play, which is like dressing up as vampires and biting each other and like pretending to hook up as vampires. So we'll go there.
So they're like Sookie, basically.
They're Sookie and Bill.
Right,
yeah, they're
okay.
like, which is hot. That was the episode I was like most excited for. I was like, I'm so down to hook up with a vampire. Like, I love vampires. I have a fantasy about vampires. Anytime I see a guy in a leather jacket at a bar, I'm like, maybe he's a vampire. I'm into it.
Hey, but what about the werewolves? Don't leave them out.
I mean, listen, any supernatural creature I feel like has to be amazing in bed. So I'm fine with trying that out. No, but so we'll go to the place, and then what happens is I never, even though I'm joking on this show a lot about hooking up, but like I'm pretty innocent when it comes to that. I haven't explored a lot of that world, and so I kind of dip my toe in it as much as I can I never get naked. I mean, since my audition, I've never gotten naked on the show. But I dip my toe in it until I'm uncomfortable, and then they bring in like people to actually like role play it and do it. So the show has a little bit of funny and a little bit of education and a little bit of like sexiness.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It's actually like a really good show. It's very different for the network. It's the first ever docuseries that Playboy did with a comedy slant, so it's cool.
Okay, so when do people watch this?
Oh, it's on Saturday nights. I think it's still on at 10, but they're always changing the time.
Okay.
On Playboy TV or playboytv.com.
That's perfect because it's just 2 hours before my show, The Red Booth, which is on at midnight.
That's right. That's right.
So you've been doing stand-up for a while too.
Yeah.
How did you get started in that?
I used to live in Chicago and I did improv. So I always loved making people laugh. But I found when I did improv that the thing I didn't like about it was I'm kind of a control freak. And so improv is fun, but I like to control the situation a little too much. So like stand-up is great because you live or die by your own sword. You know what I mean? Like if you're funny, you do great. If you're not funny, you do terrible. And then you have to find a way to do better. So I just kind of was like, I think I would rather try making people laugh on my own. And I was in LA, then I moved to LA, and I just started realizing there are so many cute blonde actresses in LA. Like, what's gonna make you different? And I was like, oh, well, if I can be a really, good comic, that'll make me stand out. And so I started for that reason. But then once I started doing stand-up, I loved it so much that I kind of like pushed the acting to the side and just pursued stand-up.
Well, that makes sense because you are actually already just naturally funny, I think.
Thank you.
I don't think anybody can just go be a stand-up comic.
No, definitely not. It's funny though, because it's one of those jobs that like everybody thinks they should do or can do. Like I've never had more people come up to me about anything in my life and be like, I've always wanted to do that, or everyone tells me I should be a comedian. And what I tell people is, hey, if you always wanted to do it, try it. Just try it. Write a set, write 5 minutes, go to an open mic and do it. But the truth is like, it takes getting on stage so many times before you're comfortable, and then you start to learn to be funny. Like it takes years. I don't think that my first year of stand-up, like looking back, you think you're so great, you get on stage in front of all your friends in a room where like everyone came to see you and you do really well and you're like, I'm hilarious. But then looking back at my old tapes, I'm like, oh my God, you don't realize how long it takes to get good. And I'm just now starting to feel like I'm getting good, and I want to be like way better,
Well, yeah, but I mean, the more you do it, then the better you get, right?
Yeah, it's like anything. You just got to do it over and over and over and over, so.
Okay, I saw one of your shows that you did where you're talking about the breast implants. This is really funny.
About my lazy boob.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got my boobs done and I have like a drifter. I have like a runaway.
I can't even believe this.
Thank you.
This actually happened. Like this is
It's
real.
real. Everything I talk about on stage is real. People don't believe me. I'm like, listen, when people ask me what my set is like, I'm like, it's like this. If you take everything you're most embarrassed about in your life, that's what I talk about on stage, because I want to be real. And the thing is, people can relate. They're like, oh yeah, I have that weird mole, or I like, I hooked up with that guy that came in 5 seconds too. Like everybody can relate to that. I got my boobs done. I had one go bad. I've had it redone 3 times. I call it the lazy eye of tits. I call it Forrest Whitaker because I say it looks like Forrest Whitaker's face.
Oh
take off my bra. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's become like a bit that people know me for because I always do it. But it's like been an ongoing saga.
Like 3 times you've had to get it redone?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I call it the apocalypse. I really
do. They give you like a freebie job?
Yeah, it's like every time you go in, you get your card stamped, and on the 10th visit, you get a free boob. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I wish. That would be awesome. No, because it's not my doctor's fault. It's me. Like, but he yells at me. He's like, "Are you treating them the same?" And I'm like, "How do you not treat boobs the same?" Like, of course I am. It's not like I leave one at home and take the other one out. Like, I never do that, you know? But so yeah, that's been a thing, but it's fine. People ask if I regret getting them because of this, and I'm like, I can't say I regret them because they have made me more confident, and
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
when it got, like, I try not to be super LA. I mean, granted, like, here sitting in this perfect lighting with this perfect makeup, like, we look very LA, but I try not to be, like, in my real life. Like, I really try to hold on to, like, I don't want a face full of Botox, and, like, I don't want to be, like, the girl that can't leave without makeup. But I also think there's something to be said about being confident and something that makes you feel good about yourself. Like, if it's not hurting anyone else, why not, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's really important for women. It's like if you have a bad smile and you want to get it fixed and it makes you feel better. I think it's the same thing as getting any procedure that just makes you feel good, you know?
Totally. Well, there's a lot of people I know who like talk about it, and like this is definitely a thing here. And I mean, moms and stuff. You know, I'm a mom. I know lots of other moms, and this is a thing that people talk about doing. So
listen, it's all. I mean, it's all. Here's the other thing too. There is a lot of pressure nowadays, like with Instagram. Like we were talking about it earlier. Like I look at my Instagram photos, and I'm like, who is that? Like I don't even recognize my own self when I look in the mirror, you know, because Instagram, everyone looks so perfect. Everything is so filtered now. Even my phone came with a camera that automatically filters your face. Like unless you turn it off, yeah. Like you take a photo and your face looks perfect.
Just, you can add the makeup on, like instant add
it's
makeup.
Crazy. I have a girlfriend, like I'll always be like, dude, I don't want to take a photo. I have no makeup on. She's like, Kate, you know I can put that on after. Of course.
It really is getting crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and so it's like, I mean, that's what makes dating so hard too, I feel. It's like guys expect you to look like this, and then I show up looking like,
and then
like a sloth.
When you come home, you like pull off your hair, and you're like, extra leg shape.
Yeah, I met a guy hosting the AVN Awards. I just hosted the AVN Awards.
That's right. That's so exciting. That's going to be airing next month.
It
right?
airs, on Showtime in March, and it was in Las Vegas. Actually, I know you have a lot of viewers in Vegas.
Right. We just say hi to everybody in
Vegas. Yeah, hi Vegas.
Hi.
I love it there. I was just there. But yeah, so I met a guy at the AVN Awards, and it was just funny because he's really cute. We exchanged info, and then I got back home, and then he asked me out. And the night that he was coming to get me, I realized, I was like, oh my God, this guy has only seen me like camera ready because we met at the AVN Awards. I was like, when he sees what I really look like, he might just get back in his car and leave.
No way. You're way too hot.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Like, if you leave set and you have all this makeup and everything, and then after it washes all off, you look a little different.
Oh my God, yeah. Or, God forbid, they catch you halfway through the wash when you look like a sad clown and it's all like melting down your face. That's when I really want to take photos.
I feel for them.
You know? Yeah.
That's when you Snapchat, you're like, this is the real me.
Oh, 100%. I'm convinced that's why guys love Snapchat, because there's no way to like fake a photo on Snapchat, because all these guys now are like, snap me, girls, snap me, snap me. And I'm like, I'm not sending you nudes, you know? And they're like, no, just snap me. I'm like, oh, you want to see what I really look like? Hell no.
I had somebody the other day wanting me to snap them, and then I was like, you do not want to see me right now, trust me. They're like, no, yes, I really do.
Right?
I was like, okay. So I snapped while I was at the hair salon, and I had my hair in like all the like blonde stuff Stephanos, I look so scary, and they were like, I'm gonna believe you next time. I'm not gonna ask.
Well, it's so funny now because it's like people can call you, your phone can ring, and it's not a voice call, it's a camera call. Like, does that happen to you? Like, I had this guy that I was talking to, and he would call me on his way to work, and he was on the East Coast.
So like a FaceTime.
Yeah, he'd FaceTime me at 7 a.m. when I'm still in
Oh
bed.
no, you don't do FaceTime at 7 in the morning.
Not until I've gotten to trap you with sex at least like 7 or 8 times. Like, I gotta trap a guy, and then you can see me without the makeup. Like, that's the only way.
That's like the disclaimer. You're like, afterwards, then you'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. Like, not before, like, before you've had the sex, I know you're not coming around when you see this.
No way, not with those legs.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, Kate, I'm so happy that you came on the show. I can't believe we're both Quigleys.
I know.
That again, like, totally blows my mind.
And KQs.
Yeah, KQ.
We're both KQs.
That's our initials.
Crazy.
I mean, we're practically the same thing.
We're the same person.
Yeah, we are.
We really are.
Anyways, thanks for coming on the show. I'm gonna definitely be tuning into your show, Undercover, and also looking out for your next comedy routine.
Thank you.
When's your next show?
I'm headlining a whole bunch of House of Comedies this summer, so people can find all my dates on my Facebook,
Right.
Which is facebook.com/KateQFunny.
That's right. So Kate Q Funny, go and check it out. And you also have a website too?
Yeah, KateQuigley.com.
KateQuigley.com. I like it.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching the Red Booth Show, and please click here to subscribe, as well as like this video, and you can even leave comments down below and we will answer you.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/KateQFunny.
Thanks for watching Kate Quigley on
The Red Booth!
Eric. My Eric. She's everything that you're not. All I had to do was send her to you, and you led her straight to the mirror. It's pathetic. Oh, what are these? Dwarfs. They're just like children.
We're mighty far from children, bitch queen.
Adorable. Bring me the mirror.
You'll have to kill me first!
No, I won't.
You're in and out!
You knew, didn't you? You knew she'd betray you, and you spared her still.
Chris and Jessica are okay.
They're okay, Chris and Jessica.
Okay. They're okay.
Yeah, they were like pretty average, you know.
They're like, if average is right here, they're like right there.
Like above it or below it?
Like right there.
Let's just talk about Chris specifically.
Very pretty.
The most pretty.
The prettiest of the fairest
The
of us
fairest
all.
of them all.
Is Chris Hemsworth.
And
actually.
Jessica is the epitome of just the most powerhouse, kick-ass girl.
She's crazy.
She's so awesome. She's so game and up for
I had a day
anything.
with her where literally they're like, all we need you to do is just like fall off this little step right here. And then they're like, and Jessica's going to come from up there and she's going to jump from up
gonna
there.
flip
And
on
I'm
a
like
wire.
looking up and Jessica's up there. And I'm like, I was thinking stunt double for me. But she's doing that.
So now I have to do it.
Literally, it's the scene where she like jumps down and I just have to turn, like literally.
Yeah,
and I was
she's
like,
so
this is gonna be
game.
really hard.
She's such a cool chick.
She is a warrior.
Such a cool chick.
It was great. It was so
There was
fun.
a lot of action in the movie, wasn't there? A lot of butt kicking. My butt got kicked a lot, mainly by you,
Yeah.
on and off the set. But it was pretty awesome, wasn't it? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what made the film, I think, you know, the love, the humour, the action, it had everything. And we had a great stunt choreography, a team that developed our fighting styles and the styles of the other huntsmen. So there was a continuity and a ruthlessness to it, and it was brutal and epic.
Oh,
Well-
he's lying.
Well, come on.
You're
In the movie,
always
you knocked me out.
lying. Okay, in the movie.
You flipped me onto the ground.
Yeah, I knee you.
Knee you in the privates. Yep.
That's in the script.
It's in the script. Well,
I
is it?
was just being a good actor.
Jury's out on that. We still don't know, do we?
Yeah, because
See you in court.
I was very drawn to the idea of playing Freya because she's a kind of a nuanced villain. I think that you see the origin of the character. It's this very pure-hearted girl who wants very simple things, is completely content with the idea that she has yet to discover her power, may never discover her power. And then through great loss and tragedy, morphs into this evil ice queen, you know. And so I think to see that 180 in a film is, for me, an exciting arc to play.
You know, I was really happy that the character wasn't a damsel in distress. I don't like fairy tales sometimes because I feel like that's the message we're putting out into the world.